I want people to feel genuinely cared about, whether you're the best athlete in there or it's your first day, but you feel like the coaches are pouring into you and helping you achieve your goals. When you're in the middle of the rut and you see the videos or you hear people say, just lean on him. You're like, oh, it's so hard to right now. But when you actually do, you see the fruit of it.
Stuff like, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
One thing, like genuinely.
Welcome back to the Traditions and Trends podcast. My name is Luke Relfs. I'm the marketing director at Oracle Insurance. With me, as always, I got my man, the CEO of Oracle, Will Stephanie.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing today, Will?
Good, man. I'm doing good.
Man, so we're here again on another guest episode of TNT, Traditions and Trends, where we bridge generations with traditional expertise and trend insight. And it is my pleasure to introduce my man, Easton Meadows. Easton, how you doing today? You excited to be here?
Really good. Yeah. Thankful to be here.
Come on. He told me this is his first podcast. So we're breaking the ice. We're getting him in. And he's going to do amazing. So much cool stuff that this dude's been doing for the last couple of years. Remind me, I feel like you're even younger than I am. You don't look like it, but remind me how old you are again.
I'm 23.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. So he's 23, and him and his wife, Caitlin, they are the owners of NCFIT Omaha, a functional fitness gym, coach-led group classes. They focus on helping people become their best, most confident self through health and wellness. That's the big thing we're going to be focusing on today, is just chatting with him about all of that. You actually coached at CrossFit Kinesis for 5 years. You trained to compete in CrossFit and now other fitness events for 4 years. So ever since high school, it sounds like you were doing some of this stuff, super serious about it. And then on top of it, you and Caitlin also own a business called Meadows Media. You guys help people with their social media. You create content and post content for businesses. So that'll be fun to talk about as well, because that's some of the stuff that I do. But super excited to dive into it with you, man. So when I asked you, what should we really focus on talking about, you were telling me, just, man, I have a desire to see people be in good health, to, become their best self and be confident through fitness and their journey. What's that looked like for you on the personal end? Because I think sometimes there's a big story attached to why we're so passionate about helping others. So for you, what's your journey looked like of this being a big part of your life and now wanting to help other people with it through the gym?
Yeah, I feel like in high school, I finally realized playing sports and you're active, but outside of that, you're not taking care of your body. And when I got introduced into CrossFit, they taught me how to actually care for your body, and it's a gift from God. And how can we steward that and treat it as a true temple rather than just let's go work out and then go eat a bunch of not so good food. That's not nurturing like what God's given us very well. So just learning that at a young age has helped me and given me a passion for people don't know what they don't know. So like people walking in our gym daily, it's like, yeah, they didn't know they shouldn't have had that pizza last night and then now come do a workout, and they're not going to get the results that they want, So just learning that has been fun in the journey, and that's kind of where my passion stems from. Just people not knowing what they don't know.
So I ate Culver's for lunch. Is that bad?
Hey, we
all ate Butterburgers.
I was like, this dude's about to make me feel really bad about what I've eaten in the last 4 days.
Culver's for lunch. Come on, that's it.
No. I think
why I'm out of shape.
You gotta live your life. But I think just depending on goals, if you have people come in, they have goals that they want to achieve, and I'm here to help you. Like, you want to look a certain way or feel a certain way, I don't know. That's my passion. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, now that you're talking about it, let's just dive in to that a little bit, and then we'll kind of work our way around some of these different topics. But I've always heard that as far as fitness goes, it's like you could be working out 6-7 times a week, going crazy in the gym, and then if you're not eating well, you're not going to be able to see results. Tell us a little bit about how those tie together and what things that you should really avoid, and just what this balance is between working out and eating. Like, how important is what you eat to how you want to look?
Right. Yeah. No, you always hear you can't out train a bad diet. And especially starting as a high schooler, I was always told, just eat as much as you want or can. And I didn't experiment. One of the coaches he was like, eat everything that you literally see. So bowls of cereal, 2 bowls of ice cream at night. Like I could not get to a certain weight that I wanted to get to just because I wasn't a grown man. I was still a little boy, and I did, and I gained like
You've never been a little boy.
right. I was a tall, skinny boy, and so I just ate everything, and I gained like 12 or 13 pounds in literally a week. And I was like, oh wow, I feel great. But then like the next day I went to go work out, and my joints hurt, everything hurt on me, and I'm like, I'm 17, 18 years old. This shouldn't be happening. Right. And that's when it like clicked for me that, okay, the stuff you put in your body actually affects our body, and so even now, like I experiment with like Kate and I, we love to go eat pizza or whatever, but I know that it's going to affect me the next day. So it's just having that good balance in your life of like, okay, enjoy life, but also, dial it in a little bit, don't get crazy off the tracks.
Yeah. So it was probably super helpful for you to start under Kyle and get that mentorship under him, and then figure all this stuff out. I mean, because you're only 23, starting your own business, recently married. So like, I mean, how important was that to have that mentorship, and then that support to cast you out into starting your own thing?
Yeah, it was huge. Like just the whole team in general there. At the time when I started coaching at Kinesis, I think I was the first or second one that did not have a 4-year degree in exercise science or whatever. Right. So they were all very educated. And so I got to basically work and have college at the same time of what I was interested in, actually, the fitness world. And so that helped me. And then being able to like be a part of it and see the inside of the business aspect of it and how to treat clientele and help people along, so it was, great role model. I definitely still say one of the best gyms in the Omaha area. And so I'm really grateful for my time there, and it's brought me where I am today for sure.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm glad that Will asked that, because that was something that I wanted to hit on, is just this key idea of mentorship. I think obviously in general, it's really difficult to go and start a business. It's 10 times harder when you're young. One of our other guests talked about how it was really difficult to get a loan for his business and all these different things because he was young and people don't trust him any further.
He was
than they
really
can
young.
Throw him.
15, yeah.
When he was first starting, But even later when he went to go get Rockies and the different things, he couldn't, the business that he has now, it was a whole deal. And so what did it look like for you to start the business? Was it just all from scratch? Like, just walk us through the process of how this came about, how you heard about the opportunity. Was this something you brought up to somebody? Like, what were just the inner workings of, hey, I'm going to start a gym?
Yeah. I think it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it as short as possible. My brother-in-law, he was actually the first one to start CrossFit out of all of us. And he was a truck driver for like 3 years, and he was miserable. He did not want to do it anymore. And he brought to one of our friends, he said, hey, I want to start a lawn care company. Would you want to invest in that? Because he just wanted to get out of trucking. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, what do you really want to do? Do you really want to do lawn care? And he's like, well, my dream is to open up a gym. And so the investor, our friend, he said, I've always wanted to do that too. But he's never coached before, so he didn't have any experience and all that. And so then they told me, I'm like, heck yeah, like this is what I've done my whole life. This is my dream. And so that's kind of how it came to be. And then so basically the investor just helped us, and from a business perspective, very experienced person, and so he's helped us in that realm too. So
that's super helpful. Yeah. Was this just somebody, we don't have to dive super deep into it, but is this just someone that was in your family that knew you guys? I mean, most people are like, oh, great, bro knew an investor. Like, that's just maybe not the norm for some people. How did that even come about, that you just know someone who'd be willing to invest probably a good chunk of money to start a business? That's a difficult thing. You have to go get a loan, or you talked about how was it your father or father-in-law? Gave you a loan against his combine. I remember you saying that in the last one to start your business. So like, what did that look like, that you just knew someone that right place, right time to help you get going with that?
Yeah, I don't know I guess I would have to ask Tyler on that, like why he chose this guy to like specifically ask. But when we did talk to him, and he believes in us, and every day he encourages us. Like he's not inside of the business, he sees it from an outside perspective, and he encourages us daily. And he's like, you guys are doing great. We can always do this better, but you guys are like, so he's always encouraging, and that pushes us. Just from the beginning, he's always believed in us. And I think seeing that trust, I was just like, all right, let's go all in. Like I'm down to do this. But from finding it, like pointing him out and being like, that's the guy I want to invest. I didn't really have a say in that. It kind of came to me.
Came to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's easier. So like, I mean, jumping in and starting a business, I know having started a couple, like it takes a leap of faith, you know? So at that same time were you just getting married when you opened the gym, or just recently
married.
got married?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has that been? And, you know, starting another business with Kate as well, with the social media side, how has that been for you navigating just the emotional roller coaster that starting a business can be? You know, I know we went through marriage ministry with you guys, you know, which is huge to make sure that you're on the same page and rowing the boat the same way. So, but tell us about that experience.
Oh yeah, man. So I always tell people, Kate and I had a really great, I mean, we've had a great marriage, but financially we've had a really good first year and a half of marriage. And then we decided to take the risk, right?
Yeah.
And so I stepped away, and my income obviously went way, way down. At the same time, Kate was working at Love Church, and she decided, you know, it was her time to step away too. So like, all right, we're really doing this. She wanted to do something that she wanted to get into real estate, and she actually just got a real estate license.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, I've seen that. That's sweet.
But that took some time. And so honestly, I would say last 12 months was probably the hardest time of my life from a grown man, like financial aspect. And definitely got to lean on God. Like we're coming out of the season, and it's one of those things when you're in the middle of the rut and you see the videos, or you hear people say, just lean on him. Just, you know, you're like, oh, it's so hard to right now. But when you actually do, you know, you see the fruit of it, and you see like you're coming out of the season. You're like, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, but yeah, been a hard year, but excited to see what God's got going forward.
Yeah, that's so good.
I think that's why it's so important. Like Craig Rochelle has a new book, but it talks about, you know, naming your what, but really nailing down your why, because when you're going to have those tough times. And if you're really like, you have a purpose of like, hey man, I want to see people experience the best in their life through fitness and diet and everything like that. So you got a strong purpose for that. So in those tough times, you stick true to that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where, like in my business, I just want to make sure and create a place where people can, you know, live life to the fullest. Also, you know, make a good income for their family and everything like that, but really enjoy life is the key thing. So, you know, it's like having that true purpose makes it, because there's going to be more tough times at some point, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to stay true to what your purpose and your mission is, and just really stick into it, because there's tough times can get rough.
For sure, 100%.
That's so good. I was just thinking, this is something we've chatted with a couple different people about. It's always good to get some varying perspectives on it. But I'm always interested in asking people, as they're an entrepreneur and have gone through the phase of starting a business and getting it off the ground. You're still kind of in that first couple year phase, but how has that looked like for you, balancing all the time that you have to spend getting a business off the ground? Like the work's not going to get done itself, but then spending time with your wife, or being involved however you feel like God's calling you in that season to be involved in ministry or serving at the church, or spending time with your friends or family. Like, how do you balance everything when a good chunk of your time is being dedicated to, hey, at least for now, like I really got to focus and get this business off the ground? What are some things that you've done to say no to the right things and just manage your time well as a business owner?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if you could maybe speak on if it ever gets better, but I'm definitely learning, and it was hard to figure it out, or it's still hard to figure it out, but just the same routine, like PT always talks about, like healthy rhythms. And actually doing that has been the biggest difference, you know? And especially with my stuff, like Tyler and I, we coach different hours, different weeks, like 1 week mornings, 1 week nights. So then with my social media business, I've got to go to those social media places opposite. So everything's always changing, you know? So that has been really hard for us to nail down. And then also pursuing your wife, spending time with your wife, you know, and it's been good. I think the main thing, honestly, for me is if I can work out and clear my mind and make sure like I'm in a good headspace, I think everything else flows from there. And obviously getting in the word and all stuff like that. So just like those healthy rhythms and then flow out of that. Right now it's just kind of all over the place, but
Yeah, I think you said a good thing, like make sure your headspace is good, because like I've been in points where like I'm trying to fulfill other people when my cup's empty. And unless your cup's full, it's never going to overflow onto others. So you got to make sure your cup's full, or you're going to run out of gas, and then you're just going to be, just like you got nothing to give to anybody, right? So I think that's so important.
Yeah, that's a great point. How does your faith impact your leadership, and what's that looked like for you as you manage other people and you have customers and clients coming into the gym? What does it look like for you to practically live out your faith and use that as a point in your entrepreneurship and leadership?
yeah, I feel like obviously Jesus is a big part of my life, and one thing I want to be able to show people and love people like genuinely, and not be, and I never want to like push, because in a gym aspect you're getting people from all kinds of, just like any business, so I never want to like push it onto them, and I just want to love them and be myself around them, and then that will hopefully attract, and we've had some pretty cool encounters and experiences where it's just natural, but being like what God calls us to be, like a God-fearing just leader in the business, is pursuing that title right there, and just standing firm in that and holding that. There's times when the ups and downs, or the downs come, and you kind of just feel small. You just don't feel like you can do it or you want to do it, but just like knowing who God called you to be in that moment is what I kind of stand on and lean against.
Yeah, that's good.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned, even in the couple years that you've been a business owner? It feels like there's so many things that happen, just rapidly changing, growing, having to learn things on the fly, all sorts of stuff. Like, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
I think there's two. A basic one would just be like there's always ups and downs. I didn't realize that there would be as low of lows and highs of highs, but it's just like constant. You'd think you'd kind of just get in like this plateau, at least for now. I mean, I think maybe it'll even out, but one thing, like genuinely caring about people, it just like, I feel like just goes a long way. And no matter how the business is doing, right? When you genuinely care, people are gonna support you. People are gonna be there and buy into what you've created there. And we've built these relationships where every person in class, like they're my friend. They're not my client. They're not, it's not just people paying me. Like we're actual friends. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about it. Shane this morning, a guy that comes to your guys' gym. He said he was one of the first guys that started coming.
Yeah.
And he said, man, he's like so cool just because it just, he's closer to my age. So things are starting to hurt a lot more. You're not quite as limber as you once were. And he was just saying, man, he's like, I just see these younger guys, or, as girls are a lot more flexible. So he's like, it just gives me a plan and a purpose, because they put me on a plan to try to get there. And he's like, it just keeps me alive trying to chase this and trying to get back to where we used to be. And, I've came and talked to you about it too, but then I see you throwing weight around. I'm like, my back starts hurting just watching you. I'm like, no, give me I got to get a little more weight off first.
That wasn't the best workout for you to come.
Yeah, I come in,
see
he's
me
throwing
do.
weight way above his head. I'm like, I'm out. My shoulders would pop right out. But man, it's super cool in there. I love you guys' design. I love all the wood and stuff too. So I'm not sure who came up with that, but props to whoever did.
Yeah, it's a cool space.
Yeah, so let's dive into the social media aspect a little bit. This is something I've been studying a lot over the last couple years, just branding, marketing, how you can use social media to grow your business and all these different things. What are some ways that you guys use this just personally for NCFIT? And then maybe we can double over and talk a little bit about what you guys do as a side gig, as another business, as far as creating content for other businesses and what you've learned. But how do you utilize it yourself? What's that process look like to, acquire new customers online via your content?
Yeah, I think at first, when we first started posting, I love videography. So doing the cool shots, the cool music, and like looking like just like kind of like a riot. And it was cool. People loved the videos. But also people see that in their eyes like, oh, wow, I can't do that. You know, there's no way a 50-year-old female that's never worked out in her life, she's like, no, I'm not going to do all that. Throw weight over my head. And then we started to realize, all right, that's not the best marketing strategy. So, you know, our goal is to show that our classes are coach-led group classes that whether you are 8 years old, well, I guess I should say 15 years old or 75 years old, whatever limitations you have, you can do the class. There's scaling options for everything. When you walk into the gym, the first thing, if there's 10 people working out, you see, let's say me working out on one side and then a person on their first day, you're going to gravitate towards me because I'm maybe doing the more crazy stuff, right? With maybe the heavier weight and this guy's got lighter. We know what I mean? So just showing that it's a place for everybody and not just this wild fitness thing. You know? And yeah, it can be intense. You can push yourself as hard as you want to or as little as you want to. And I always tell people that I've literally trained a woman in a wheelchair and people with, you know, 2 broken legs before and a whole broken arm. It's like, you can always do something and you can just move. So we're trying to show that through social media in a simple way though. So
Yeah.
Do you guys do much with running ads or funneling people any kind of way from the content? What's the like practical steps of, okay, someone sees a video, do they just go to your website and sign up for something? What's like the process that somebody goes through if they maybe see a piece of content, start following you and they're like, hey, I'd like to go here and start taking some classes?
Yeah, I think we could make that a little bit better process. We haven't really gotten into the ads much with NCFIT Omaha. We've just honestly been trying to get a good family base of people, and then from there start reaching out a little bit more. And I feel like we're at that point where we can start running some ads, and you know, we want to get as many people in as possible. And so, but yeah, we haven't really done much with Facebook ads or anything. But the process of like, let's see, you see a post, you know, go to the link in the bio. Link takes you to our website, and then you can just purchase whether it's an unlimited membership that you can come every day, or we have like class pack options that you can choose from as well. So
Yeah, how does that work with your guys' membership deal? This is a better question. What's the difference between you guys and any other gym? Like, give me, I don't want to say elevator pitch because that's not what I'm going for by any means. I don't even think you don't even have to have one of those. One of my favorite mentors is like, has this story where he's at the event and some guy's like, the guy on stage in front of everyone, he's like, give me your elevator pitch about your business. Why should I work with you? And he was like, blah, 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 blah. Like, this dude's one of the greatest speakers I've ever seen. I had no idea. He thought about it later. He's like, why did I just stumble over my words like that and give the most incoherent answer? He's like, I realized I don't have an elevator pitch. You know what my elevator pitch is? Have a great day. Like, I like your shoes. Hope you have a great day. He's like, I just want to leave someone better than I found him. I'm not going to pitch them my business right in the deal. And so it got me thinking like, okay, we really got to know who we want to serve, what we do, and how what we offer people is different and better for them than maybe it is for someone else. So I'd love to know that. What do you feel like is different about what you guys do, what you provide? What is someone going to get that they're not going to find elsewhere at any other place?
I keep saying it, but I'll say it over and over. Just that genuine care of no matter how good or bad the coaching is, no matter how good or bad the workouts are, I want people to feel genuinely cared about, whether you're the best athlete in there or it's your first day, but you feel like the coaches are pouring into you and helping you achieve your goals or get to the point that you want to get to. So I would say that would be the biggest thing that would make us different. And I think there's many other great gyms around here that do that, but like, that's our main emphasis on that. And then coaching too is a big thing. We really emphasize our coaching, and in a class of 15 is our max. You almost feel like you're the only person in there, because we try to hit each person every single class multiple times. Like, hey, you could do this a little bit better. Hey, good job, encouraging and correcting.
Because that's really important, because, I mean, you can get hurt if you're doing stuff incorrectly.
Yeah.
That's what I was like,
Yeah. And we won't let people do a certain movement if it doesn't look good. We're like, hey, you're not going to do that today. We're going to do something else. So let's work on this with a 2-ounce PVC pipe, not a 45-pound barbell.
So I was just going to say, so like having, now that how long has the gym been open?
A year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah. So like that, you got the other business, you got your marriage. Like, what now that you're a year and a half in, you got your feet underneath you, you got some processes, procedures down, some rhythms, to it. Like, what are you starting to see now as a business owner? You wear a lot of hats. Like, getting to the next stage, you may need to add, somebody else to take something else off your plate to get, as you grow, that just kind of happens. Do you see anything down, the horizon that you're like, okay, here's our next step to get to the next level?
Yeah, for sure. I think we do wear a lot of hats, and even, gosh, I think it just depends on finding our weaknesses for each of us, and then just finding help there. We're kind of in an interesting spot to where we don't just want to have one gym. We want to have multiple gyms throughout, but like small retail space gyms. And then, I don't know, maybe one in Bellevue or one Council Bluffs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So at least from seeing in the future, I might be wearing a lot of hats for a little bit. But you never know. God might change the plan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No, that's a great question, because that's I know that's something Will is even working through right now.
Yeah,
There's
totally.
multiple people that work at Oracle at this point, but he's just talked about this process of giving over control of certain areas to people and letting them really work in their flow and the thing that God's created them to do, and something that's really comfortable for them and that they enjoy. And it's good to just get that stuff off your plate as quick as possible, but it can be difficult to release control of some of those things. And I totally see how that could be something hard. But what would you tell somebody that is wanting to get into their fitness journey, if they haven't really taken that seriously, if they haven't really been trained before or been at a gym like that? What would you tell that person that's like, hey, I want to get involved, but I'm kind of scared, I don't really know what this looks like? What would be your best piece of advice to that person so they can jump in and change their life?
Yeah, I would just say find anything that attracts the eye that you want to do, and just try it, and if that's not for you, try something else. But any kind of movement, anything to build the body is a positive thing, and it's what our bodies are made to move. So just, jump in, and whether it's CrossFit, whether it's Pilates, I don't know what it is, but anything is good. And like I said, try things, because for example, our gym might not fit somebody, and we'll tell them, like, we've literally told someone, like, hey, this gym might not be the best fit for you.
Right.
Like, we love having you here, but this gym over here, I know the owner, know the people, and they're great, so you might like it there a little bit more,
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good point, just moving. Like, so we went to Rome over the summer, and the only overweight people in Rome were Americans that were visiting Rome.
Bro.
Just serious.
crazy,
I mean,
man.
because our food, the FDA, the food that we have is not healthy. Like, most of the stuff in the food that we eat is illegal in every other country, like high fructose corn syrup. Like, ketchup is terrible for you in America. In other countries, it's not.
Right.
But also, people walk everywhere. Like, that's the biggest thing. I mean, when we were walking around Rome, we walked 25,000 steps a day. And then we went and ate pasta, pizza, and drank some wine for every meal. That's what and I left, and I was more fit when I left because I wasn't eating crap. I was eating all natural stuff, no preservatives, and then walking everywhere. And I think just moving, eating healthier stuff, and that's pizza and pasta isn't healthy, I wouldn't say, but it was actually all naturally, no preservatives and stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's, there is so much to that. Just move.
100%.
Don't sit on the couch playing PlayStation all day in your mom's basement. Get up and go, man.
Right. Shoot, even if it's only 30 minutes a day, just go do it. It's better than nothing.
And consistency compounds. That's one of the coolest things about the gym, is it's one of those deals where you aren't going to see results right away. It's going to be something that you have to commit to. We just did a content strategy meeting today at the office, and I was walking some of the agents through how to create content, and even less about how to create content, but just why it's important and how it can transform your life as far as your ability to communicate, your ability to storytell, your ability to build an audience. And Myron Golden has this great quote where he says, the work it's either working for you or it's working on you, but you have to let the work long enough for you to become someone for whom it can work. And I was like, Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like so often we just quit doing something after a couple months because like, oh, I don't see the return on it or this isn't happening the way I want to. It's like, are we dedicated to doing whatever it is that we enjoy or a service that we're providing to people or building our body or whatever the case is? Are we willing to spend years doing this or even decades? People talk about the whole you underestimate what you can do in a decade and overestimate what you can do in a year. If we're playing the
That's so
if we're
true.
playing the decades game of like, dude, what do we want life to look like and how do we want the reputation of our company to be in 10, 20, 30 years, not tomorrow, not in the next 6 months and all of that. And so tell me a little bit more about the content stuff that you guys are doing on the side. Is that something that you and Kate do together pretty heavily? Is that something you kind of do on the side? I'm sure it's something that she'll utilize as a real estate agent. I'm a believer in it full blown, dude. I think creating content can change your life no matter who you are. And you just can't go wrong developing your personal brand and sharing with people who you are, what you do, why, what you provide for your customers, how it's changing their life, all that good stuff. So like, what's that looked like for you in the years now that you've been doing it? How have you seen things changed? What are the things you've learned? How do you implement it yourself and then with other people that you work for?
Yeah, it started as doing it for an actual company, and basically their goal was just to get more exposure within Omaha. And so I just was like, well, let's focus on quality. No iPhone, not very good photos or videos, and consistency. So we posted 7 days a week, and we started gaining more and more traction. And I was like, oh, I might do this for a business. And so then I started getting more people, and then started to fall in love with our editing and storytelling, and got into wedding videos and family photos or whatever it is. So like Kate and I, we'll tell people we'll do anything with the camera or some things with the camera that we can capture and edit. But Kate and I, we've done like marriage, like TikToks almost. And we just kind of started it as just, I think Kate just took a video of me one day and made like a marriage, like funny quote, and it just went viral. And we're like, oh, we could actually have something here. So then we just started doing them, and
I'm gonna have to download TikTok so I can watch that.
Dude, they're funny. They got him on Instagram too. I don't know why I totally blanked about that. Yeah. Don't you guys have like 15, 20,000 followers or more
I
or
think on
something on the page?
Instagram. Instagram is like 20,000. TikTok's like 68 or something.
Dude.
So like, give me an example one.
Oh, dude, they're
Oh,
funny.
shoot.
There's some funny ones.
Oh gosh, what is an example of one?
Like just making fun of marriage, kind of like what husband and wife kind of issues.
Yeah, like oh gosh, I don't know why I can't think of one.
What was the one? I know there was one that you were like laying in bed and they'll do voiceovers where there's like this like cute little voice in the back and they're kind of, saying what the voice is saying. Or there was something where she's showing you and the comments were just going insane. Everyone was like, yeah, just so you know, that's our husband now. Or the funniest, one of the funniest comments I've seen on videos like that, it was like, is your husband single? But there were some ones that blew up of Easton, like all these girls just loving Easton. They're like, this dude's so cute, he's so blah blah blah. Like, it's like, this is great.
Yeah, there's kind of like voiceover videos that just make it's just funny videos about marriage.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And they're so relatable just for any
exactly,
marriage. It's just
exactly.
so simple
Right.
things.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
some of that stuff's so funny. I don't know why. I totally forgot until you said that. I was like, wait, yeah, they do have that. Like I've seen a bunch of their videos. That's an interesting point. Do you guys have any plan of doing something with that page and maybe trying to monetize it in some way where it's like you have this decent following on it? Is there any plans to maybe figure something out where you can take some of the people that follow you on there and see your content? And I don't know what you would do exactly. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with some ideas, but do you guys have any plan to monetize that in any way or make it more of an official thing? Or is it kind of just, we pop on there and make videos for fun and that's
kind of how it started. And it kind of is how it is. And we go through ups and downs. Like, all right, we'll do a video a day and then we won't do it for like a couple weeks. And it's just consistency like we talked about. But I would love to. Like that's Kate's dream. If she could do anything, she would like to be an influencer and be able to do TikTok, YouTube, and she's really good at it too. So I would love to do it. But I think, coming up with a plan would be great. But with the season of life, with both our businesses, her real estate, and all this crazy stuff.
It's kind of crazy because that's what she wants to do. And I think she'd be awesome at it. Mm-hmm. But, like personally, like she's pretty quiet and pretty, pretty held back a little bit, but then you get in front of doing something fun with her husband and she's like, let's go, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
It kind of brings her out of her shell a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's so many different things that you're doing. What are some of your, like, who are some of your biggest influences? Do you have some mentors in the space of building a business? Are there people online that you like? Are there books that you read? Like, what are you doing to just learn and grow and take it to the next level?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm kind of one of those people who just kind of bounce all over and just almost search a certain thing to like listen to. I'm not a fan of like one specific person, but I would say like individually people that you guys know are like Cap, OC, and PT have inspired me. And honest, for sure, Cap, especially with the media stuff, like he's the one that pushed me to like, hey, make it a business, go make some money doing that, and use it for God's glory. And so yeah, he's definitely one of those people. Now following him, now look what he's doing. It's so cool, so cool to see. So but yeah, to answer your question, there's not one specific person that I'm really into right now. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm definitely in that season as well. It's just so fun. You don't know what you don't know. It's partially what you said at the beginning as far as health goes or food and all these different things. And so I think it's so cool. I mean, sometimes it's scary because people can just, showcase like they know something or showcase like they've done something. You got to be a little cautious as far as maybe just picking up online mentors and some random things like that. But I wanted to go back to the beginning of the conversation where we're talking about food and all of this different stuff, because I know that's such a big part as we dove into a little bit on someone's fitness journey. Are there like any foods you know about that's just an absolute like stay away from this? You know what I mean? If you're eating this, you're done for. Like, what would you kind of say to someone who's, I mean, maybe diet's not the right word. I don't know what your thoughts are on like an actual diet, but if someone's trying to clean it up, like what food should they avoid? What things should they eat? Like, just what are some more inner workings of what you should be eating or not eating if you don't really know much about that?
that's a good question. I was actually thinking about this earlier. My sister, she runs a nutrition online coaching business, and they're crushing it. She's got like 4 assistant coaches. They do it. They reach people all throughout the world, but she would be great to have on and just like cause she's grown her business from scratch. And but
That's your oldest sister?
Oldest sister.
Okay.
Yeah. From a nutrition standpoint, helped a ton of people.
Nice.
But anyway, she could give you a great answer on this, but my answer would just be like, the simple thing is stay away from processed foods. When you're at the grocery store, let's say you pick up a bag of something or a drink or whatever, look at the ingredient list. If there's more than, let's say, 8 things, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah, right.
Eat the organic stuff, and that's a good base,
Yeah.
You can go down a long rabbit hole with that. And I always find like I'll be eating something, and Kate will look at it, or my sister will look at it and be like, oh, that ingredient's bad for you. You shouldn't eat it. I'm like, well, that everything has that, It's like, how do I stay away from
Dude, I was talking
That's what I
to a chiropractor, and he's into like natural stuff and all that stuff. But he was saying like even in baby formula now, it's awful what's in it.
that's
It's like, what is going on? We're starting babies off on a bad foot already,
just for a dollar?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
No, it just reminds me of what you were saying about being in Rome. People are walking. I remember when a guy that I met, I was working at a camp for a while, and this guy that I met, he was from the UK. And so we're like taking him to all these places he's never been to, like a Dairy Queen or a whatever, just all these things he's never had. And he said that he was like, dude, you can get anything here. Just the food portions, the stuff that's in all this is just completely different than what they have over there. It's just a whole different ball game. It's absolutely crazy. Do you guys what is your role at the gym with coaching people on their diet and what they're eating? What kind of role do you play as far as the people that you're coaching? As far as that goes, is that like an extra thing that people can get some insight from? Because obviously you're going there to work out. You're not going there to like talk nutrition exactly. Right. So what do you guys offer for people knowing that that's such a big part of someone seeing results or not?
Yeah, we send them to my sister, Jordan.
Nice.
So she, she sends people to us. We send people to her. And because without one of the two,
it's not going to work.
Not really. Right. You're not going to reach your goals. I would honestly say nutrition is one of the most important things. It's more important than working out, but obviously you would want both of them. People will ask Tyler and I for general quite like general nutrition questions, like, hey, should I eat this, or is this bad for me? Or, we can give that just a little advice, but we're not certified in nutrition or anything like that. We just we can speak from experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the final thing you would say to somebody who wants to do some of the stuff you're doing, whether it's creating content, helping other businesses with that stuff, starting a gym, or they're just inspired by young people? That's why I love doing this podcast and bringing some young dudes on and seeing the success that they have and the things that they've done, and just allowing them a platform to inspire the next generation of other. Maybe there's someone in high school or even middle school or our age or whatever the case is that wants to be an entrepreneur. They want to start some kind of business. What would you say to that person? What are some practical tips that you would give them to get their journey started?
The thing I tell every kid younger than me is surround yourself with people who have been through it. So since I've been 16 years old, I've been at Kinesis or, Love Church, and also be a question asker. Don't be the one rambling all the time. So I would sit there after class, and these people who are paying a high dollar membership at this gym, obviously I've done pretty well in life. And so I would ask them, how'd you get there? What were this processes and the steps? And so I would just learn from them. And that's honestly where I feel like I've gotten a lot of wisdom from, just people's experiences and journeys. So yeah, just go ask questions and talk to people, get uncomfortable, talking to people that have been through it.
Is there one thing that if you could start over, is there one thing that you would have changed different, or something you would have done different? Because I have a whole list of things that would be different.
Yeah. Well, I'll speak from the social media side first. I wish I would have perfected my craft a little bit more. I was telling them that I've definitely done paid shoots that I'm like, ooh, I wish I wouldn't have, had them pay for that. I didn't feel good about giving that to them.
Yeah.
From the gym, I think I'm still learning like what we would do. There's little things that we could do better and differently. But I think that's more within the business, but I think I'm still learning that process, and I'll look back in a few years and be like, oh, I wish I would have done that a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was almost wondering if you were going there, because that's a great question as well. But I know sometimes these things are hard to recall. But when you were talking about the people that you would ask questions to and that you would get to know a little bit at the gym, was there anyone in particular that said something or gave you a piece of advice that's really stuck with you to this day? Is there like one thing that you think of like, oh dude, I remember that guy told me this, or he runs a company and gave me this advice, and that's something I remember? Is there anything in particular from any of those conversations that stuck with you?
Yeah, there's one guy that he taught me how to handle money. He taught me how to save money and invest it since I was 17. He looked at me, he's like, how old are you? I'm like 17. He's like, go today to open a Roth IRA, And so he would teach me that stuff. And then, I lost my train of thought on what else I was going to say. But that specific guy, I don't know, that was a big thing in that. And I don't know why.
Yeah, and I think it's so important, like surround yourself with those guys and try to, like I'm in a men's group that's all executives, business owners, and then another one on Friday that's all leaders of some type in a business, and just the knowledge and support you can get for those in those low times. I mean, to make sure like we're reading Exodus right now, and Moses had Aaron and Hur like help him hold up the staff while Joshua was out there fighting, and it's like even Moses needed support to hold up to finish the job, right? So I think that's so important in leadership, man. Some days you just, as you probably been there, some days you get home and you're like, man, I just can't carry this load for another day, right? Because it can be overwhelming. I was there like this week, and then we had worship and prayer last night. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got some power back in me, bro. But man, it's so important to have guys there because normal people don't get it when you're talking like, hey man, I just had a bad day, and they just punch in, punch out. Like I would love to punch out some days, but when you own your own business, sometimes you just can't. Your mind doesn't shut off. So like I think it's just so important to stay plugged in with a group, a bunch of guys that can support you. So do you have that right now, or is that something that you're still kind of fine?
Yeah, Kate and I, we had a young adult small group for like our first 2 years of marriage, and then our year when it got real rocky, the hardest year yet, we didn't have any support. Like we were just scrambling. I'm telling you, every part of our life was just scrambling, and we just got one like a month ago, and it was just an answer to prayer. Like that's what we needed, and so I just feel so backed and supported by that. From a business, a bunch of guys surrounding me in business, I feel like we're missing that piece, and I'm searching for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I want that.
See, I think that'd be something cool, like to have. I mean, this is why we do this, and this is why I love doing this podcast. But man, just as as an older guy that's been through a lot of business ups and downs, I think it'd be cool to have this same kind of thing in a group. Got some young business owners, some old guys to help just help you guys. And then also you guys invigorate us to man, have that fire. Like I remember 20 years ago when I started my first business, and I had a lot more energy, a lot more going on. So, but yeah, that'd be huge.
Awesome.
So good. Anything else that you want to touch on that's on your heart at all? I feel like we've covered a lot of good stuff as far as starting the business, mentoring, how you're balancing starting a business and running it and being married and doing ministry and all these kinds of different things. So a lot of good stuff. Like anything else that you want to end off on that as people are listening and closing up?
I think we covered a lot. And it was good. Yeah. I'm just thankful you guys had me on, and I was able to share what I've been through so far. And hopefully there's a young kid out there, maybe a high schooler or whatever, that can watch this and maybe encourage him to start his own business.
Dude, so good. I mean, shout out NCFIT and everything. What's your guys' website and social media and all that kind of stuff if people want to find you and follow you and start getting involved with what you're doing? Yeah,
it's www.ncfitomaha.com, and then it's just NCFIT Omaha on on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. So
cool.
Well, man, proud of what you're doing, man. Keep your head down. Just keep doing it. And get me energized to try to get back to the gym someday. I'll get there.
Yeah, let's do that.
He's like, come on, man.
I'm ready for you. We're always there.
He's like, just stop throwing the weight above your head.
It's only half a block from my office too, so it's like I got no excuses.
You drive by me every day.
Yeah, I do.
He's like, oh man, I should go in there. Just drives right by.
I feel bad every time.
Whenever you're ready.
That's awesome. Well, dude, Mr. Easton, thank you so much for sitting down. Just stoked to see you continue to crush it, and Kate crushing being in real estate and just all the different things that you guys are doing. Thanks for coming on and getting to hang out with us. But we will see y'all next time on the next episode of Traditions and Trends.